Hello, my name is William Wright, and this is my band, William Wright and his Brothers in Arms Band. Today we're going to be performing a couple of selections for you, one from my CD called Going Home, and another one that will be released on a future CD. So I'd like to introduce the band. First of all, on my far right is Larry Barley. He's our guitarist, and this is our vocalist, Mark Powney, and we're going to play a couple of selections for you. One, two, three, four.
So it is a Saturday night, the stars are out and boy are they bright. The enemy's coming, they'll be here real soon. No need to worry about doom and gloom. The Sarge comes over, says turn off your light, says we're in for a hell of a fight. Dig in your trenches and you'll be alright, we'll be alright. We'll be alright. They're coming in threes. I've seen this, but it's not the Trinity. The fighting was heavy, but we were alright. We held our own. We held our own. We shot our weapons, and one thing's clear. The end was near and we had no fear. We had our training and our bodies too. We fought for freedom, for Queen and country too. So it was one hell of a night. The stars were out and boy were they bright. The enemy came, it's always the same. We play the game. It's such a shame.
All right, thank you very much. That song is called Saturday Night, and that's going to be on my next album. And the next song we're going to play for you is called Going Home, which is a tribute to Corporal James William Ogilvy.
Jim is my name, I'm a driver, you see, of this fine armored cougar. Dan's the gunner, Chris the commander, we were a hell of a crew. Out on patrol with our cougar we were deployed in our Palladium. Over in Bosnia Herzegovina, a squadron rotation 3. Going home to my family, going home, see you soon. Going home, Mom and Dad, going home, going home to my my buddies, going home to the core, going home to the heavens, going home, I'm going home. Nighttime was coming, it was getting dark, so we stopped for a coffee. Off we went home to Camp Maple Leaf. It wasn't that long of a drive. From out of nowhere a car cut me off. Then we went off the road. We started to tumble and fall down, we did. It was a perilous plunge. Going home to my family, going home, see you soon. Going home, Mom and Dad, going home. I'm going home to my buddies, going home to the core, going home to the heavens, going home, I'm going home. One thing to say that you all should know, I'm with you all of the time. Next time you look up into the sky, remember I'm there by your side. Next time you think of those who are free, I ask you to think of your soldiers. We are the ones who keep you free from sea to shining sea. Going home to my family, going home, see you soon. Going home, Mom and Dad, going home. Going home to my buddies, going home to the core, going home to the heavens, going home, I'm going home.
Hey everybody, it's me, Hugh. It's a special liquid lunch on a Friday here, and we just heard a couple of great songs from William Wright and the Brothers in Arms.
William Wright and his Brothers in Arms band.
Fantastic. And we heard a couple of songs that you wrote, right, William? From, are they both on this CD?
No. One of the last song we did, called Going Home, the title of the track, is on the CD, and Saturday Night is going to be on the next release.
Oh wow! So you're like you're already getting ready for the next one. So this is the CD here, Going Home. Great song, and it's good to have you here, William. And I guess we're talking about Canadian soldiers, wounded warriors.
Yes.
And in part, well. Actually, we want to hear about the band. I know you're in the reserves,
Yes.
right? So you're serving already, and but let's find out what's the story of the band.
So the story of the band was about a few years ago, we had the 22 push-up challenge. I don't know if you heard about that. So on average, about 22 soldiers were committing suicide every day from what they experienced on a rotational tour. So Wounded Warriors Canada and other groups decided let's do a push-up challenge of 22 push-ups every day for 22 days and make a donation to Wounded Warriors Canada. So I did that challenge, and I thought, how can I do something to include music in this? And that's when the whole process came about of me thinking about it. Didn't really crystallize itself till a little while ago, but when I was living in my basement going through separation and divorce in 2015, one of my officers in my unit, Captain R.J. Vandersloos, he kind of checked up on me and said, you don't look very good, and we talked about what I was going through, and he was like a father to me, and so he sent through social media a competition, and it was the Perth Military Settlement songwriting competition. So Perth, Ontario had its bicentennial, and they put together a songwriting competition. So I entered that, and that's when I wrote The Duel in August of 2015.
No, we haven't heard that one.
No,
not today.
This
but,
is the first song on the CD called The Duel.
Right.
So it's not a full CD, it's an extended play CD.
Yeah,
so
you
there's
got,
3 tracks on it.
3 tracks, okay.
So I wrote this in August 30th of 2015, and then I wrote. So what happened was my father passed away due to cancer on Sunday, June the 12th, 2016, and it was very emotional for me, and I noticed on social media my former commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Christopher Stewartson, he posted a cairn with a plaque of the passing of Corporal James William Ogilvie. And Corporal Ogilvie, it was 20 years ago, actually August 31st of this year, that there was a situation, an incident that happened where their Cougar, they were going home to Camp Maple Leaf, and a car ended up pushing them off the road, and the Cougar flipped.
Where was that?
In Bosnia-Herzegovina.
Oh, okay.
So when I saw that, I said, "Oh my goodness! He must still feel something about this." And I contacted him, and that became the song "Going Home." And the lyrics in the song tell the story about what happened to those that crew, the Cougar, AVGP Cougar. So I wanted it to be a song about helping soldiers to heal from their psychological wounds. And there's a lot of philosophical lyrics in there. The gist of it is, even though I'm not with you physically, I'm here with you spiritually. So, and when you think of, your freedom, think of your soldiers, because they're the ones that give us our freedoms. So, it helped me heal. It helped me to heal from the loss of my father, and it's actually touched a lot of people's lives. So that was written in September 5th, 2016, Going Home.
Right.
That's the second song that we played.
Right, and we heard it
Today.
tonight, and we were all touched by it as well.
Thank you. And then in January, the last song on the CD is called I Need You. And I actually wrote this for Victoria Tuasson and her now husband, Brent Filion. And it's really about family. So I need you, you need me, soon we'll be a family. That's the entry.
I'm not familiar with their story.
So their story is, I work with her. I work for Loblaw Companies Limited at their head office.
Yeah.
And Victoria and I work together. And she actually went up with me to the CHEO telethon in Ottawa, the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario. and they used to have a telethon on CTV Ottawa, and the year before that, in 2016, I went up with another group and we performed, and she sang my song "The Duel" live on the telethon.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh, must
So,
have been.
and I played Levian Rose on accordion, and she sang in French. So it was quite moving. So I wrote the song for their wedding, really, but it's got a lot of elements of family.
Right.
And, you know, to me, the military is about family,
Yeah.
because they've always been with me. They've always supported me. And it's just somewhere I can go to in the band and be myself.
Yeah.
Because everyone in the Canadian Armed Forces Reserve, like myself, and I'm going on my 23rd year, you're a soldier first. You go through basic training, and you're a soldier first. Then you go on to your trade. And I'm a musician in the regimental band of the Governor General's Horse Guards, which is a armored reconnaissance unit in Toronto. And I feel really blessed to be part of that unit. And we're always looking to grow bands in Toronto, so we're always recruiting. Other bands are recruiting, so if there's any students out there watching, or any parents thinking about, you know, if they have any of age.
So they can no. So they have to become a soldier, though.
Well, so the first step would be for them to go to the recruiting center.
Right. And this is to be. So they join the reserves.
They
basically.
join the reserves.
They go
and
through basic
They
training.
go through basic training.
Yeah.
And then they become a musician.
Right. And so that's great. So now, how old? What's the age range that you need to be to go before going to the recruiting center?
Well, I believe with parental consent, you
Yeah.
can be 17.
Yeah. What's the oldest?
Well, you can join up to, well, you can serve until you're 60,
Oh, okay.
55 to 60 with the commanding officer's consent.
Yeah.
But you have to maintain to be physically active, and there's certain requirements that we have to do being in the reserves.
Right.
So,
You know, I
Yeah.
phoned them a few years ago.
okay,
I wanted to join, and they never got back to me.
okay. I'm sorry about that.
See, because I could have been in for the music, because you need musicians, right?
Correct.
Well, it sounds like fun. I mean, that's the way to be a soldier.
Well, there's different trades in the Canadian Armed Forces,
Yeah, yeah.
reserves, and the Reg Force. If you think about society, every trade is supported.
No, I know your other guys here. They came down from Barrie today, but where are you located?
I live just north of the city in Maple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And other members of the band on the CD. So Mark Powney is the vocalist. Larry Barley is the guitarist. Jonathan Amador,
Yeah.
who's a phenomenal bass player. He plays double bass on the CD. And Christopher Reeser, he's the percussionist. So what I wanted to do to form this band is I wanted musicians from the Canadian Armed Forces on the CD. So when I reached out to these people, I told them that what I wanted to do was to record, and they were all on board. And we recorded. First we practiced at the rehearsal factory downtown here, and we got into the recording studio on December 2nd, 2017. CBC TV came to record us. We were on the news, so that was a surreal experience. We actually recorded in the same studio that the Jonas Brothers and some other stars recorded in, so that was a great experience.
Which studio was that?
It was in Metalworks, at Metalworks
Mississauga.
in Mississauga.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And they treated us phenomenally.
No, and what was your motivation really for doing this CD?
So my motivation was to give back,
Yeah.
to make a difference in the world, and to help our soldiers that suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, and operational stress injuries. So what I did, my original idea was to perform Going Home at Wounded Warriors Canada at their gala that they have once a year, which didn't work out. And then I thought maybe I went to a center called the Toronto Military Family Resource Center. They have a guitar jam every Wednesday where soldiers can come and jam on the guitar.
Where do they have that?
They have that at the Toronto Military Family Resource Center. It's right adjacent to my unit, actually, Allen Road and Shepherd at the base.
Okay, right.
So it's a building adjacent to 32 Brigade or Denison Armories, where I prayed on Tuesday night. So every Wednesday, for all those soldiers out there that have an instrument, if you want to learn to play guitar, you can come out. Usually have a bite to eat there. So I bring my accordion, and I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and I wanted to have the concert there, but it's a small venue. So we had the release concert on January 19th, 2018 at the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 142 at Coxwell and Gerrard. And
I'm just trying to picture that in my mind.
Yeah.
I think I've been there. Actually, I went to a wedding at that Legion.
yeah, they have a number of halls there, and
Yeah.
we had the release concert. Had about 130 people there
Yeah.
in attendance, and I made a check presentation to Wounded Warriors and TMFRC
Yeah.
there at the release, and
And I understand all the proceeds from the sale of the CD are going to both of those organizations.
Correct.
Right. And what does the Toronto Military Family Resource Center? What do they do?
So they have, Hugh, I'm glad you asked that question. So they have programs that military and veterans can come in, and they have psychotherapists there. They have, they do gift baskets during Christmas time. They have yoga. They have all kinds of events at a discount that soldiers can do, or veterans. And they're really not going to turn anyone away. But I love the work that they do. They help me out. I did some counseling there, and from what I was going through during my divorce. And they're really great people, and they love our soldiers, and they want to help us.
Well, you know what I like? I mean, I like these songs that you wrote that are on the CD, the ones that we just heard. I just want to acknowledge you for writing these songs. I mean, they sound like old classic, war songs that have been around forever.
Well, it's funny you mention that, because someone in the industry said my writing style sounds a lot like Stan Rogers, famous Canadian songwriter.
Of course, he did the Northwest Passage
Right.
and that Halifax Pier song.
Right.
And it also not that it reminds me of Stompin' Tom, but I remember Stompin' Tom once told a story that this is what inspired him to get into music was in the Second World War, when all the Allies would be together after the war. Well, I
Right.
mean, as the war was mopping up and they were still dealing with the situation in Europe, they'd have all the Allies together in a big, and they'd all get up at the after dinner and sing songs from their countries. So the guys from France would sing, the guys from Britain, the Americans, but the Canadians, the only song they knew was "Oh Canada," because
Okay.
there weren't really a lot of Canadian, war songs or folk songs or anything that they could sing, except for
Right.
"Oh Canada" was the only song they all knew together. So that's what inspired Stompin' Tom, and now you've added to the repertoire of Canadian military songs that people can take forward through the generations.
Yeah. No, it feels great for me to give back. I believe music is a way of healing,
Yeah.
and that it can touch and see, like the thing with PTSD. It's there's still a stigma around mental illness. That if someone has a broken limb, it's okay to visit them in the hospital. But if you suffer from mental illness and you're in that situation, it's almost like people don't want to see you or get involved. But I did the Sentinel program in the military, and it's just some people don't want to be talked to, or they don't want to talk, and it's really important just to have an ear and to have a shoulder for them to cry on, and when they're ready to talk, they'll talk, and just use questioning techniques like you know, you don't want to be too overt about it, and just see the signs and symptoms, and if they want help, maybe ask them, you know, would you like to talk to someone, and then that can be arranged.
What is that Sentinel program that you mentioned?
So it's a program that my padre took me through, and it's again really looking, just being a sounding board for these people that come back from a tour, and just being there for the individual. But getting back to the CD and the music, the first song we performed was Saturday Night, and that's going to be on my next CD.
So what's that song about?
So the song is essentially about a section attack. So but they're going to be all right. Their Sarge is with them. They're in their trenches. So trench warfare was back around World War I. We're not in a trench. I mean, you know, things are different these days. But just that it's an optimistic song, that they're going to be okay. They're going to make it through this, and they did, and they made it through it. So, you know, not everything's about doom and gloom, as I say in it, and it's about getting together, clinging together, supporting each other, and that's really what I wanted to get across in the song.
Okay, so that's coming out on your next CD.
Next CD.
Now, how many songs do you figure will be on the next one? This one's got 3, right?
This one, it's an extended play, 3-song CD. So, I mean, everything that I'm doing, that I'm able to do like this, is coming out of pocket from me.
Yeah.
And the Canada Arts Council is a big organization federally, and there's a lot of resources and funds out there, and they've actually approved me to apply for a Canada Arts Council grant. So I hope to put a budget together and do what's necessary to try to get some of those resources. And I'm also working on another major huge project. I wrote a musical back in high school called Black and White, and this is the libretto. So the book. So I had it workshopped with a group of high school students.
Yeah.
From a high school in Toronto, and Kathy Whiteside. Thank you, Kathy, for helping me through that. They workshopped it, they read through it, and I'm going to do what's necessary to bring that to the stage.
So you've written the story, and
I've got the story, and I'm writing the music.
all the music, yeah.
And my idea was to have it performed when I was in high school,
Yeah.
but that never materialized.
Yeah.
So now I'm in a position where I can do it, get it done.
Now, is there a military theme?
There's no
to
military theme to it.
Can we ask you what it's about?
So it's about a black girl and a white guy.
Yeah.
So my first high school sweetheart, she unfortunately was taken tragically from us a few years ago, Natasha Williams. And Natasha, I'm thinking about you, and this is in your memory. So I'll make sure that comes out.
Wow.
So
okay.
it's just what they go through, and it's a high school setting.
Yeah. That could
And
be
it's
fun.
very philosophical. I studied philosophy at the University of Toronto and political science. I have an MBA also. So I'm using all these things that I've learned to get things done.
It's great. That's a lot of creative stuff that you're doing, and and all giving back. Now, okay, So the money from the CD sales is helping Wounded Warriors and Toronto Military Family Resource Center.
Yes.
Now you've got an event tonight.
Yes, I
and it's
have an event tonight. It's called To Serve and Savor, and it's hosted by the York Regional Police Department, Eric Joliffe. I first met Eric Joliffe when I received my Queen's Diamond Jubilee Medal at Queen's Park he wasn't the chief at the time, but with Eric Joliffe, and I reached out to him to give him an update of what I'm doing, and his secretary got back to me and says, well, William, I think that's great what you're doing, and the chief thinks it'd be great for you to sell your CD at his event, because my CD is going for Wounded Warriors Canada and TMFRC, and their event is for Wounded Warriors Canada. So I'm actually going to give proceeds to Wounded Warriors Canada for this event, because it's a Wounded Warriors Canada event.
Now you're selling the CD. Are you guys performing at the event?
We're not performing at the event, unfortunately.
So, but can people go to this event tonight?
It's sold out.
Yeah.
And they're expecting about 800 people. It's in Aurora on the property of Magna.
Okay.
And it's a big, huge tent, apparently. I have to be there at 5 p.m. tonight. But my CDs, I'm going to have a small table. That's what the CD looks like. So it's a professionally done disc. The disc is right there on the table.
Yeah.
And I've got these 8x10 artwork. These are going to be for sale.
We have some, I think we got some images, full screen images of the paintings. Now these, are you selling the originals or
No,
prints?
so these are prints. John David Hart, who mentored me through the process of getting my CD done. This is original artwork by John David Hart. And
Here we go.
that's the back, what you see on the screen, that's the back jacket cover. And the front is a few more
the other
soldiers
one.
is the other one.
The other one, yeah.
And I'm asking for $150 each for these.
For the prints, right?
For the prints.
Yeah.
And they're framed. I'm going to be taking orders for those at the event tonight. And they're on canvas and they're strung in the back.
No, they look great. I mean, I thought they were originals, actually.
Yeah,
So-
they look really close. And
Yeah.
John David Hart actually told me he's willing to sign them, sign the prints. And for a few more dollars, those could be yours too.
Awesome. And all going to a good cause,
All
obviously.
going.
Also, do you want to just, I know you went to Chicago for some big thing. What was that all about?
Yeah, so
With the band, right?
yeah, with the two guys that were here performing. So John David Hart, he's an artist, and as well as a singer-songwriter, and he made a painting for the Obama Foundation called "The Preservation of Life, Barack Obama," and it's a wonderful, magnificent work of art. A lot going on in it, and there was a misunderstanding when we got there on October 31st. We were supposed to go and perform at the Obama Summit at the Wintrust Center on November 1st, but we didn't. We were in tuxedos, and they gave us complimentary passes, and we enjoyed the concert. But I ended up presenting that painting to the road manager of Chance the Rapper, who in turn got it to former President Obama.
Great. So he's got that now.
He's got that now.
And also, I know you do have some gigs coming up, right?
Yes, we have a very big gig coming up. So, Paris Black, who you've interviewed recently, about last week probably.
Yeah, I think last week. Yeah.
That's how I found out about you, actually, is through that interview you did. So I connected with Paris about it, and I contacted you. So we actually, on January 19th, 2018, when we had the release concert, Paris Black performed at my release concert. So that's how I know Paris. And he performed recently at the Del Rey and the Linsmore, and we performed with him separately on stage. And now we're going to be opening up for him tomorrow night at the Firkin Pub just up the street at 1075 Bay Street. And we're going to be performing all 4 songs.
Yeah.
and Chris, our percussionist, is Chris Reeser. He's going to be there, and there's going to be something special in store. I'm not going to put the cat out of the bag,
Okay.
but you got to come out, and it's during TIFF. It's the first weekend of TIFF, so the Firkin Pub. It's great. Paris refers to it as the best medium-sized location.
Oh yeah, he said it was like the best venue
It's
for
like
live music
it's
in
like
Toronto.
the Hard Rock Cafe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which we don't have anymore.
So this is the
unfortunately.
Hard Rock, or
Now, are you gonna have the whole band there?
the whole band's going to be there, except Warren Davies, who's the bass player for Paris Black. He's going to be subbing in for Jonathan Amador,
Okay.
who won't be able to be there. But Warren is a phenomenal bass player, and I want to really thank Paris Black for bringing us to and letting us perform these songs at his concerts, and he really believes in what the military does, and he's a great man and he's got a great soul,
Yeah, and he's got some great music too.
and he's a phenomenal singer, phenomenal performer. You will rarely see a performer with that energy
Yeah,
these days.
I was just listening to one of his tracks before we did this interview, or before you guys performed. So that's tomorrow. Now, what time does that show start?
So that show goes down at 9 p.m.
Okay, so the whole thing starts. Are you now? You're performing. Paris's band is performing. Is there anybody else performing?
Yeah, the who is it that's performing? I know there's a poet,
Actually,
a
we got
rock
the-
poet.
We got the poster
we got
outside.
The poster
We
outside.
can go look at it afterwards.
Yeah,
but
but-
the overall show starts about 9.
Around 9 o'clock.
Okay, and what time do you guys figure you're gonna go on?
I think we're going to go on at 9.
Okay.
I believe.
All right.
I spoke to the sound guy last night because, again, we have a special thing going on
Yeah.
that I can't reveal.
All right. So people should show up probably a little bit early. They can
Probably
get,
a little bit
They
early.
can get some dinner
Get some food, get some drinks.
and then stick around for the show. And I think that's a great way to open up a show like that with just from the style of the music you guys are playing.
Yeah, you mentioned the other performer. I can't remember his name. You said he wears a blue shirt.
Oh, Max Brand.
Max Brand. Yes, he's going to be performing as he's one of the other opening acts. And I'm actually going to be performing with Max and his band, playing some freestyle accordion.
You know, it's funny. I saw him last Saturday.
Yeah.
Up at Downsview, as a matter of fact.
Really?
For the Rib Fest. Well, you know, Max is at every live music event in the city. It's hard not to
He's
see
a great
him.
live performer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so great. Awesome. Now, we're going to give all the contact info for people that may want to support the troops, or get a copy
Okay.
of the CD. I know this is something my mom would have really loved.
Okay.
But is there anything else you want to leave people with today?
Just my artwork and my CDs are available on CD Baby.
Okay.
And the artwork will be available for purchase on my website. Eventually, I'll get them up there. But you could contact me. I've got a messaging part to my website.
The website.
You can send me an email or a contact, and I'll get in touch with you.
Okay, great. So it's williamwright.com, and I'm presuming you have links there to this CD Baby where people can buy the CD and all that
Yes.
kind of stuff.
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, I just want to say thanks for coming in today and performing for us, and I'm looking forward to hearing the CD myself. I've got the song going home in my head, and it's the kind of thing's probably going to stay in my head all day. So thank you, William. for
Thank
being
you
here.
so much, Hugh. It's been wonderful.
Okay, great. All right. So I actually think that's it for Liquid Lunch for the week. So have a great weekend, everybody. Maybe we'll see you down at the Firkin Pub tomorrow night, and we'll be back here on Monday. So thanks for tuning in.